Don't, it'll be chalked. I should probably there. Okay. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the IndyHog 500. We're here at Indianapolis Motor Speedway for round number 5, the second Triple Crown of the IndyHog season. The first on an oval, the first of 2 on ovals, actually. Iowa's is also on an oval. But yeah, the first of 2 on an oval here at Indianapolis. This track is crazy. We'll do a quick flyby run through of the things that make this track unique. So obviously, like, first of all, you can tell, for it being considered an oval, I mean, it's kind of it's a bit of a rectangle, but it still falls into the category. And what makes this track so unique, and you'll see it here, aside from the shape, the rectangular shape that we already went over, is the turns are very unique. We got 4 turns, and, usually we say, like, the turn 1, 2, 3, and 4, but even though it kind of feels like it's just, like 2 turns on an oval track, well, here it is certainly 4 turns, right? Pretty hard to debate that. And on this one especially, the 4 turns are very unique. So we'll see here, take a look at turn 1, take a look at the banking on turn 1, and also like the angle of it there. And, take note of that, see that, and then take a look at turn 2. You can already tell is quite different. It's got more banking here, and may even be at just like a tighter angle, very aggressive. Turn 2, very tricky turn. I kind of underrated it. I didn't realize it was going to be as tricky as it was. I would have rated other turns higher there, but honestly, turn 2 might have been the hardest once the race happened. Turn 2 is very tricky. And then here we go to turn 3, highest banking of all of them. Maybe there you could tell a little bit better, highest banking of all the turns. Lots of banking there in turn 3, lots that you can go up and get after. Near the wall, the angle on it's a bit different than the other ones as well. And then we go to turn 4, which I believe is the flattest. If it's not the flattest, it and turn 1 are pretty similar. They're both pretty flat, to be fair. But also the most like wide open. It's a little bit hard to tell from the angle, but the most, I guess you could say like traditional turn with turn 4 here, with the apex being in the middle, and the other ones are a little bit different, like really hard on entry, really hard on exit for some of them. This one's just a pretty typical turn for turn number 4. So there you go, and that's the quick rundown. And obviously you got the little mini straights in between the turns as well. Very unique track. Let's take a look. I'll give you the rundown on the heat races real quick. Sorry, 1 sec. Okay, so heat 1, Luke taking the win there. Slaunch taking the win in heat number 2. Top 3 for heat number 1 was Luke, Soul, Coop, and then the top 3 for heat number 2 was Slaunch, Armada, and Roman. So there you go. There you go. All right. So let's go through the starting lineup, and you got a little bit of a hint of it there for the heat race results. It's going to be Luke to the right, switching up the colors a little bit this week, so things don't get confusing here. Rocking the Mountain Dew sponsor action. So switching that up a little bit this week. So Luke on the right, Slaunch on the left, Soul, then Armada, then Coop, Roman, Hunter, Camby, and then Detail bringing up the rear here. Tires are being warmed up. We're bringing it to the bricks at the start-finish line. It's going to be 30 laps. 30 laps in these 3 motos at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Here we go, green flag. Going to be an absolutely crazy race. Try to follow this one as closely as we can. Pretty clean through turn 1 so far. Now we go into 2. And I'm kind of surprised. I expected it to be aggressively cheese. I have a big move right there, huge run. Coming there in the middle of the pack. Let's see if we can get an idea. It was Roman. I thought it was Roman. Roman getting a huge run on the outside, then carrying it all the way to the inside of 4th place. So Roman getting some nice runs and trying to make some gains already. And you could see, I mean, you could just like watching the straightaways. You saw it on the back stretch. You see it here on the front stretch as well. You can really see Oh, big crash. Wow, big crash. Take a look at that one. That's in the stands. It's going to be, oh, MCC. We already get hit with the, okay, that wasn't that bad. So let's take a look here, see what happened. I believe it was Soul running third place here. I think it was Soul. Oh, and a little bit of rock contact on the inside, just a little bit too low, and he goes flying, and I'm expecting to see lots of incidents in that turn one. It's tricky, and look, the perfect flip to send him into the stands, and contact was made with him as well, and a spin out too. Certainly a caution there, and some moves being made off of that in the back of the pack. And this is a unique thing about this track is, you know, obviously this track is freaking huge. So the runs with the cautions, the runs back to the line, and on some of these cautions, they're going to be very long. So like the battles back to the line on the caution lap's going to be very important here. So it's going to be Luke, Slaunch, Roman, Armada, and Coop running up the top 5, and we'll fast forward a bit there. But yeah, it's going to be those races to the line, obviously always important, but especially going to be important on this one because track's freaking huge. Track's freaking huge. So like those laps, depending on where the caution comes out, that lap, that race back to the line can be a long ass race back to the line. You know, it can last a while. So that's a thing there. But let's go on board. We're gonna go on board with Camby here. Why not? We'll do a mix of the footage on this track, especially because this track is so huge. So we're gonna do on board with Camby. 3 laps in to their big race at Indianapolis. Green flag. See if Camby can get anything going here. It's usually a bit rough on the starts. Oh, this is going to get a little spooky because it's going to go to a 3 wide, and they had to be aware of this. Oh, honestly, pretty good job. I got to admit, pretty good job out of all drivers. Oh, look at that. We got a 4 wide for the lead. Meanwhile, there's a slight 4 wide for a moment, and then it kind of goes into 3. And Luke's going to get away from it in the front, but it's still a 3 wide for second. Be careful. And big run for Camby, big run for Soul behind. Huge battles. And look at how much Luke checks out in the lead with these guys battling. This is something... Oh, no! Too far on the inside again. It was detail that time. We'll see if we get a caution on that one. I think there might have been some slight contact on him, so we'll see if that one gets called. I think it probably should have been, but we'll see. But yeah, so that's a factor that you'll see. The race control, and we've seen this we saw this at Little Texas, and I think we'll see this on most of the Hog Ovals, to be honest. But I think the Hog Ovals, with how important the momentum is in the Hogs and like the bogging and the way that they work, I think that on the Hog Ovals, that lead and that control of the race is going to be a lot more important and a lot more beneficial than it is on the Gooses in the Goose Oval races, which I think is a good thing. Honestly, I think it's a good thing. Like having the lead, having to control the race, like it should be an advantage, and it should give you some help in that way. Oh, and it looks like the caution was not called, so we're still going green. We're still going green, so it was a little close. I think there might have been some contact on it, but regardless, not called or no caution is the call made on track. So interesting. Okay. And yeah, as you can see, that's Luke over there on the left. So yeah, it's a huge advantage. Like, if you're able to get away in the lead, look at how packed up everybody else is. It wasn't even Luke. That was Slaunch. That was Slaunch. So that's how, or unless it was Roman. Let me double check here. No, Slaunch is in the back, so it is Roman. Okay, yeah, so it's Luke then Roman. So look at that. That's the gap. That's the gap. That's first and second. That wasn't even the lead. So just like being able to get away, get such an advantage. It's absurd. Look at this. Now, obviously, again, it's only so much because, you know, we're only going to see, Roman hitting the Nos Hog. We're only going to see so many, like, long green flag runs, right? There's not going to be that many, like, super long stints on this track. I would imagine this track's very brutal. This track's it's very technical, honestly, as far as, like, Hog Ovals go. And I feel like that was the case with Little Texas as well, but I think this track is very technical, too, in its own right, like even more so than Hogtona maybe. It's a tricky track. Like, for one, quick lifts and like mini lifts and let-offs are pretty nice on this track, which is something that adds some technicality to it, and it's something that's also kind of necessary if you want to not murder the driver next to you You know, you might need a few mini lifts on the inside of somebody to not force them into the wall. It gets tight. This track gets very tight. You're carrying a lot of speed. It is a fast track. You build up tons of momentum. You build up tons of speed in these corners. You get some fantastic runs, which right now we're seeing that on Camby, making a run on Slaunch down the straightaway. We're perfect example of what I'm talking about right now. We're witnessing it. And right there with Slaunch, like, you can get these big drifts. And oh, Camby kind of got him on the edge right there. That might be a caution. We'll see. Some contact there, too. We'll see if that ends up being one. I think Camby thought he was clear. Wasn't quite clear yet. But yeah, it was a perfect example of exactly what I was talking about, which is just those big runs that you can see on the straightaways. And that's what makes this track so fun. Is it's going to be difficult, right? Like, especially on the restarts, you're not always going to be able to make things happen. But once it starts to single out and once things start to spread out a little bit, you can really make some use out of those runs. And it's just like it's just a really cool type of racing. Like, it's just not. It's hard to explain if you haven't raced it, but it's just a different feeling than what you would get on any other Halo oval racing. Like, you just don't. It just feels more realistic. It feels more realistic, right? Like, in actual oval racing, a lot of the times, yeah, you'll get like a run out of the corner, but like the pass will happen or be completed on the straightaway, right? Whereas like on the Gooses on Halo, that wasn't the case. Like, a lot of the time you'd have to make it happen in the corner. Like, that straightaway speed just wasn't as much of a thing. And I know I talk about it a lot in all these hog races, but it just keeps coming up because it's what makes it unique, and it's really cool to see. I really enjoy watching it, and yeah, I mean, we'll see how the night pans out, but I don't know. The hog oval racing's fun, and it won't be. I guess by process of elimination, this is kind of a spoiler. We won't be going right into another specialty series for the next one up. I'll give you that little hint there, but hog oval definitely something that we could look at for the future. Like, we did hog RX. This is also like kind of a hog GP season. We've done multiple seasons with, even though we haven't done like a straight up hog GP, we've done so much hog GP that I think I think it adds up that we've like done that. And like I said, we did RX. Definitely want to get around to hog SX and hog oval as well and cross those off at some point as far as specialty series go. We have this restart here. We're inching closer to halfway through the race. Big run right there. And Armada actually took the lead from Luke. Sorry, I got distracted on my play-by-play for a little bit. Armada had a great move on Luke and took the lead. But then Luke got some momentum there to try to take the lead back. We'll see if he can complete the pass. It's going to be pretty tight. Oh, they do a nice job. They do a real... Oh! Camby keeps it going. That might be green. That might be green. that might actually be green. But Luke takes the lead back, so it's Armada to second now, and they have a fantastic lead. And if they're smart, I mean, there'll probably be another caution, but if they're smart about it, after, that pass is made, I think they'll probably... keep it clean here. Soul gets Hunter in the wall there, and a little bit of a pile up. That might be a caution there. We'll see. But what I was saying is, maybe a little bit of not teamwork, because don't have teams in this series, but a little bit of just on-track circumstantial teamwork maybe out of Armada and Luke there. It'd be smart for them to just stay single wide and try to get away. But yeah, judging by the moves, I'm thinking that was a caution. So we did have a caution called on that contact. We'll go all the way back. But yeah, I'm excited. We definitely, and even though we technically haven't, like, we'll get the Hog F1 in eventually. I know IndyHog's a bit different. IndyHog's almost like a pseudo Hog main series in a way. But we'll get that in as well, because the only true specialty series that we've done with the Hogs so far is RX, and RX was pretty solid. But also it was the first one, and we there's a lot to learn there and a lot to build upon. So I'm excited for what we could do in the future. Green flag, as we're perfectly hitting the halfway point of the race. So literally halfway through right now. Luke getting a good jump start again. He's going to be... Oh! And that'll immediately... Oh, man. Soul biting the dust on that one. That'll be a caution. We'll have to go back to the top. Let's see the race to the line, because, again, this is going to be huge. We know that'll be a caution. Can Roman get the run to the inside of Luke here? Not quite, but he should be able to... Oh, wait. Luke hits a little bit of that rumble, so Roman will have a run. Here comes Armada. But it's going to be in that same order. So Luke, Roman, Armada, then Hunter... Launch your top 5 to the line that time. Oh, that was after caution. That was after caution. All right. Sorry, it's hard to do the play-by-play on the other sides as well, especially on a track like this. But over halfway through, under 15 laps remaining. Pace, Indianapolis, here we go. Green flag. It's Luke and Roman leading them down on the choose. And the choose, I'll say it because we'll fast forward through a lot of it, but the choose rule, I do want to say a lot more even. Like Little Texas, we saw big stack rows on the inside. Look at those runs to the outside right there out of turn 2. We saw a lot of that, and it was definitely very inside focused at Little Texas, which is fine. I'm sure there'll be tracks where it's outside focused too. But as you can see, the choose rule, as you'll see throughout the night, a lot more balanced. And a lot of the drivers, we'll see some strategy calls here and there, but honestly, a lot of the drivers just went in the normal position that we'd be going in normal oval restarts anyways. A little bit of wall contact right there. That was Armada and Roman, and a big, what in the world? A massive pileup. What in the hell was that? That just started that whole thing. It's Armada and Roman battling hard, and Armada just gets tight, sliding up, gets Roman into the wall. Roman sideways, Hunter. Detail makes some contact, but he's honestly kind of the lucky break on this one because he's able to get around all of it. Look at that. That's a 5-car pileup behind him, and notably Camby as well. Camby and Detail with the lucky breaks on that one. They're able to get through it. Half of the field involved in that one. I guess you could call that the big one in Moto 1 right there. That was pretty substantial. So we'll get the race back to the line here. So it'll be Luke, Armada, and what the hell? They ended up... Camby gets Detail of the line. They ended up having a photo finish. Wow! Slaunch and Roman, too. What were with those crazy photo finishes of the line? But yeah, I just got to keep going with the random stuff. But yeah, the choose rule, a lot more balanced. Again, I'll be fast-forwarding through a lot of it, but a lot of it on this track was just drivers taking what they would take in normal oval scenarios anyways. It was a lot more balanced on this one, but we also saw some strategy calls, and interestingly, I think especially towards the latter half of the night, well, that's kind of a spoiler, I probably shouldn't have said that, but whatever. As the night developed, I think we actually saw some favoring of the outside. A lot of drivers really started favoring the outside, interestingly enough. So I really liked how the choose played out in this one, and it's nice to see early on how different it can play out on different tracks. Here we go, restart late in the race, 10 to go, green flag. Again, only 10 to go. Last third of the race here, it's Luke and Camby. Luke and Camby leading them down. Camby making it all the way to the front row after having to start far in the back. Big gains out of Camby. Little bit of slight wall contact there. They're getting tight off of 2, but not that bad. No death on that one. Side by side, multiple battles. In turn 3, a little bit of wall for Detail. Not the way he prefers to get shoved in the wall generally, Lamau. But yeah, that one's going to slow him down a bit there. He's going to cost him a little bit of time. He's going to lose a bit there. He's going to have a big lead on this restart. Roman with a big move. Oh, is this the HRL? Roman coming in hot. Going by Armada and now trying to make the move all the way to Camby as well. Is that the HRL right there, or did they just have that bad of a run? Oh, but look at that run off the outside for Camby in turn 3. And then turn 4, look at that. Turn 4, I like that. Camby making the outside work. Look at how much Camby just got away on the outside of 3 and 4. Love to see that. Camby really showing some prowess here. Oh, a bit of a crash there in the back. That may be a caution. We'll wait and see how that one's called. I believe it probably will be a caution. We'll see here in a moment. See if this is the race of the line here. But yeah, I liked that move out of Camby. And again, what you just saw to him in 3 and 4, I think that's what people will realize, and I think that's why it'll change on the latter half of the night. More people start to prefer the outside. Is because the inside, yes, when you're on your own, you do like to go inside. You do like to hit that apex. But another thing, again, it almost feels like a realistic, more real-life type of racing where that inside, it gets really tight. It gets really tight, and you can like drift. You get kind of loose on the inside when you're racing side by side. The outside guy has a lot of control there, actually, and they generally can keep the hog more straight, you know, a little bit less drifting there and keep up that momentum. So maybe the outside is not necessarily, you know, some areas of the track, the outside's not that bad when you're single wide. But in a battle, the outside can actually be very advantageous. And it can lead to situations where to make passes, you have to go for like slide jobs almost on this track. And yeah, not a caution on that. We're going green here still. Going to be coming to 5 to go this time by. Camby trying to hold off Roman, the home track hero. We had last week, who was it? Last week it was Slaunch at St. Petersburg, correct? I think it's in Florida. So we went from Little Texas. Anybody Long Beach? Anybody's home track in our series? I don't think so, but Little Texas Details home track there, and then Barber. I don't think that would count for anybody's St. Pete's launch. Well, now this stop of the schedule, it's Roman. Bringing it to Indiana, and he's trying to show out for the fans. There, pride flags all around the crowd, but he gets too loose, and he's going to lose a lot of ground. Going to lose a lot of ground on that one. More runs, and I think we might have a caution. We'll have to wait and see here. I feel like we might have one. I'm not 100% sure. But if it isn't, I mean, we'll find out in a moment, but it is definitely singled out a lot on this green flag run because this green flag run started to develop. And again, it's crazy the gaps that you can have in these hog oval tracks, especially on these technical ones, the gaps that you can have in these green flag runs. Like, this is not that long of a green flag stint, and we're already having some crazy big gaps. This battle to the line here. Detail and Soul. But yeah, it's awesome. Again, I'm very excited about the prospect of, over the course of the next couple of years, probably getting to do the specialty series, as RX is the only one that we've done so far. I'm really looking forward to the prospect of getting to do it eventually with the hogs. And we do have a caution. I'm not sure what it was for, but we do have a caution. That was the race to the line. And drama late in the race. Drama late in the race because this is going to be a natural green-white checkered. The caution came out at the perfect time for it to happen yet again. 2 oval races in a row, 2 Moto 1s in a row? I'm not 100% sure on that. But yes, here we go. It's going to be a natural green-white checkered. It's going to be a 2-lap. Do we get to the checkered flag? Do we get to the caution shootout? It's going to be Luke on the inside, Camby on the outside, then Roman, Slaunch, Armada, Detail, Coop, Soul, Hunter. That is going to be your order. And here we go. Again, this is for all the marbles, not for the night, but for this first moto. 2-lap shootout. Who's going to take it? Luke's led most of the race, but Camby with a late contention. Green flag. And Camby with a pretty good start as well. Very clean out of turn 1, I gotta say. Very great job out of everybody right there. Stacking up a little bit in the middle. Some runs, some blocking. Just 2 wide. Almost all the way through. Starting to separate in the back. But the battle for the lead remains 2 wide. Oh, they're getting really tight, though. With some big runs. Big inside move. Oh, shit. Nah. Can I go back a little bit? Okay. Let's get, while we're in the midst of this, let's get a new angle of this because I got caught in the grandstands. Who is this? It's Detail. Look at this with a big run and a big ballsy move. Trying to get a 4th place. Here we go. It's the leaders still side by side. White flag. Last lap. 1 more to go. And they're still side by side. Oh, contact in the middle. Turn 2, it tends to get very tight, Luke. Oh, a little bit of contact with Camby. That sucks because we clearly saw on the theater that he had him cleared, but maybe a little bit of contact right there. Maybe Camby got a little wide. I'm not sure. Maybe it was a little bit of both. But either way, we keep moving. And look at the 2 wides all throughout the middle. That might settle it for the lead, but it's not going to settle it for the race. This is the run to the end, the run to the line. Luke's going to take the first moto at Indy. Camby, Slaunch. I think Roman, then Detail. And a couple of the other drivers that got separated and got into the wall. Soul and Hunter more towards the back there. Let's take a look at that order again. That was incredible. And again, these natural green-white checkers, man, I got to say, it's not the excitement and the drama. It's nice seeing this type of stuff with the new rules. I'm not talking to it. Looks like we're going to have to fast forward a bit here, so we'll filibuster a bit. But yeah, that was a that was a pretty incredible finish. Hope you guys enjoyed that. That was freaking insane. Let's get to the end here. And I wanna show a quick replay of a few highlights on that finish and get you the finishing order as well one more time. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed it. The racing on this track's incredible. It's you know, definitely Hogtona vibes, right? Definitely Hogtona vibes. So let's go through the start. So the start's pretty clean, and as you can see, like, everybody does a pretty good job. I gotta give credit. Like, turn 1 is a little bit tamer on the start, but I still got to give credit where it's due. Pretty solid job. A little bit of wall contacts there in the back in turn 2. Turn 2 is pretty treacherous, especially at the start. But yeah, not too bad. And Luke and Camby are going to side-by-side battle like all the way to turn 2 of the last lap. They keep an incredible battle. Detail has a crazy run right here, and this was almost a run for 4th place. That was a really big run that he had there. And I think Coop, was it Coop or Armada? I think Armada trying to ride the back of that one, try to follow suit with him there. And then here we go, and Slaunch, look at this. It's Luke, Camby, and here's the decisive moment in the race. It's Luke, Camby battling for the lead, and Slaunch in 3rd, trying to, you know, be the lucky dog here. Luke dives deep to the apex, and this is where it's tough, because in theater, and I don't know if this is a combination, because as we can see, like, it's pretty clear, but Camby does get moved over into the wall just slightly. It's not the worst in the world, but I do wonder if that was some theater or with some screen lag cheese or something, because that looked, you know, obviously on our theater end, it looks pretty clear, but I'm assuming for Camby it wasn't. Unfortunate that there was that little bit of contact, because that was a really great lead battle that they were having late race. But not to detract from it, it's still a pretty great battle, and it goes all the way to the finish, and it kind of creates some drama. Camby now needs to worry about trying to hold on to that, and Camby actually sets up for one last push, and he does a really good job. If Luke got loose at all, Camby would have been right there. And Luke takes the win. Camby is going to take 2nd. And then Slaunch will absolutely take 3rd. And Roman just barely gets out. Detail sets 4th, 5th. Armada 6th. Coop 7th. And then Soul. And then Hunter. There you go. So there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed it. That was Moto 1. I'm going to have to reset it. We're going to have to go into the next film. That was Moto 1 for Indy. Pretty good start, and it'll get even crazier as the night goes on. We're gonna hit that invert, and yeah, hope you guys enjoyed it, and see you for Moto 2.